My name is Pat Hightower, and my late husband Tom and I moved to the village in '95, June of '95, and I immediately jumped in and was in Gordon Grunke's Bits and Pieces and sang. That's my first appearance on the stage in the village. In 2000, I directed South Pacific here in the village. Well, the first big musical that the Players presented, Fiddler on the Roof, I was Golda, and I got to sing with my dear friend David Major, who was Tevye. There was a children's theater called Imagination Station or something, and I directed a third. We divided into 3 groups, and I thought, we don't need adults on the stage. These young people can do it. And after that, for the next 10 years, I wrote, directed, accompanied 80 young people. And it was the highlight of my life. I love those kids, and I'm so proud of. Some of them have really gone on to make a name for themselves. These plays that we did, I wrote with the music in it, and then Joe Nancy Sundberg would take my ideas and put them into speaking parts, and every child in all of the productions had an individual thing that was theirs only. I, besides directing, I sold tickets, I did makeup, I've done props, wherever I was needed. Well, I have memories of the little girl who relieved herself on stage. She was 5 years old and she couldn't make it off. That will stick in my mind. But my favorite memory is being able to direct South Pacific after I had been Nellie Forbush. Go to a meeting first of all, and on Tuesday night, the first Tuesday night of the month, go to a meeting, meet people, volunteer. If you don't want to be on stage, there's so much to do backstage. It takes, I'd say, 10 people for every one thing, one person on stage. There was a parent who was working so hard helping me, and one of the stars of the show at dress rehearsal said, I need to go play junior golf. And she says, go ahead. Well, we happened to be videotaping that, and when his time came, he wasn't here. And I blew a gasket. And I said, I am the queen, you do what I say, and if you have a question, come to me. I want to thank the Players for 23 of the most fun years of my life. I taught music in Baton Rouge. I was in the theater there, and I taught at LSU in the summers, did operas everything, but this has been the most fun that anyone could imagine. And I love everyone who has been part of my life here. Happy 40th!
And I've been doing shows with the Village Players since 2005, starting with the Young People's Theater. I was 6 years old. When I was younger, my mom put me in anything and everything just to see what would stick. So I did sports, and I did dance, and I did gymnastics, and I did theater, and theater I just wanted to keep doing it. Even growing up, I always wanted to be in front of people and performing, and I would go to restaurants and sing with the band and things like that. So it wasn't a surprise that I ended up really liking theater. Yes, it was called Those Were the Days, and it was going through the decades. And so it was like the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and it was so much fun because that's stuff that we didn't know about, and then we all got to do it and dress up and do the dances. It was really cool. My favorite role that I've ever done was in Hollywood Hillbillies, and I was Cindy Lou, and I got to have this ridiculous country accent, and I got to like sing, and it was just kind of like very comical and farce, and I thought it was so much fun and very like character building, I guess. So she would just talk like this and talk about how Graham was getting into stuff, and I had to work at the post office, and I was in love with the sheriff and all sorts of things like that. I'm attending college at the University of North Texas in Denton, and my major is theater. Oh yeah, it kind of like, it made me realize that this is where I need to be right now in my life, and this is what I need to keep doing because it's something that I have so much passion for. I think without it, I wouldn't have had the opportunity or the drive or just have the experience to really understand that fully. It's impacted me immensely in so many different ways. It's kind of taught me how to be more confident being on stage, and I've met so many people and they've taught me life things, and it's taught me to like open up and try different parts and go for things. So it's like taught me so many things in so much more than just being on stage, which is really cool. I would tell them just to let their kids do it and to just like encourage them and let them try it out, because it's so different trying out lines and then being on stage and performing them and just experiencing auditions and experiencing, you know, callbacks and things like that. If this is something that their kids really want to do, even just community theater will give them so much more experience and so much more knowledge and other things. They'll learn and they'll gain so much. So I would say definitely just give it a shot and be encouraging about it, because you never know what they'll gain from it. I just want to say happy 40th anniversary and thank you so much for all that you've given me and just all the opportunities. I'll be forever grateful.
Lee Iafrate, and we joined the Village Players in 2005, right about November. Well, at the time that I came to the Village, I had done mostly acting. I had directed 3 plays in Michigan, but primarily acting. And the Players were actually what got us to the Village, to be very honest with you. And the facilities and the camaraderie, it's really one of the basic things that got us here. It's the one that everybody's been talking about for years. Jack and I were in Haunting of Hill House. The first play that I directed here was The Gazebo, and memories from that one. Of course, Ron Petty, that was his last role, but watching the guys figure out how to get this gazebo that collapsed, and then we had to put it back together again. The backstage people, that was a miracle. With the Village Players, I've done costumes. I did makeup for quite a few years. I've done props, and props is kind of fun because you gather all the things that are needed that somebody needs to hand you, or and you can get a little creative in that too. And it's not, you know, if somebody's thinking that they don't want to be on the stage, that they would like to be involved, props is a fun place to do it. Well, I have said yes, sort of reluctantly, to do Mom's Gift, and I got to page 25 in that script, and I decided I had to do it. It is so funny. Well, I would like to wish the players 40 more happy years of playing in the village, and happy anniversary.
My name is Jonancy Sundberg, and we moved here in 1991, and I saw the very first production of Village Players on the Woodland stage. Before that, they had performed at the Coronado Center, and it was a tea house of the August moon and memorable. Immediately, of course, I wanted to join Village Players. Since I was about 3 years old, I had been involved in theater and had been in a theater group for children and then for junior hires and onward. I love being somebody else, and that's exactly what you get to do when you perform. However, I did learn that there are many, many other jobs needed to put on a production, and so I was happy to promote Village Players to newcomers, to Los Lagos visitors, so that they would want to come and want to participate as well. I did many things. When Pat Hightower was having her young people's theaters, she would tell me what she wanted in it and then want a script for the narration. And I always wrote it in rhyme. did lots of things in rhyme, did many things for cast parties, initiation of new officers, a lot of odds and ends of things for which I could write rhymes. Probably my best memory is the first major production I was in, which was Auntie Mame, and I was the Irish nanny, and so used a brogue throughout it, was in every scene, so attended every rehearsal, was a wonderful support role, and I enjoyed it immensely. Murder at the Howard Johnsons was Reader's Theater, and Wally Newbern directed Reader's Theater for 11 years, and I was in every production for 11 years. Oftentimes the narrator, but in this case, I needed to fill in for the female role in Murder at the Howard Johnsons, and it was quite an experience working with the two men that were the other people in it. And as I said, I did things in that I would never do in real life. Oh, have an affair. Well, Reader's Theater is theater. It's just not acted out on a stage. Every person has a stand of some sort, usually a music stand, on which the script is. There are no stage settings. There are no props. You have to present the story just in the way you say it. And so you have to be super, super ready to do the script because you know it so well, and you live it, but you just read it. My advice is we need you, because for every person who is on stage, we need several people working backstage, from those who are directing, to those who are working with props, to those who are painting scenery. There is something for everybody to do, and this happens to be one of the most fun groups in the village. I'd encourage you to try it. It is a wonderfully bonding experience to be in a performance. You have to live with each other for quite a while in order to prepare it for a presentation on the stage. And it is a great way to make friends. It's a great way to have fun and do something that's enjoyable for other people as well. When I joined Village Players, I had no idea that it would ever celebrate a 40th anniversary, and this is wonderful. And I hope great success in future performances as well.
Melissa Romero, and I started performing with the Players in 2012 with the Young People's Theater. One of my favorite memories is when we were doing Young Frankenstein, and we had this big tap number for putting on the Ritz, because I like to think I'm really good at tap dancing, and so I got to help out with teaching other people how to do it, and the whole thing came together like really well, so that was really fun. I go to the University of Central Arkansas. My major is theater. It definitely like furthered my interest and solidified that that's what I wanted to do, because I remember that my sister went to school for performing arts, and I was like, oh, I want to be just like her, I want to do shows, so I joined the Players. But then like I started doing it and I was like, okay, I actually want to do this because it's such like a great community and great opportunities and everything, and I was like, this is amazing. I have learned mostly that you're never too young to do something like this, because, you know, it's an older community and you think, oh, there's not going to be a spot for me. But there's really a spot for you everywhere. If you want, you just have to go out and get it. You should join the Village Players because you're going to meet a lot of great people who can teach you a lot of really important things, and you're going to have great experiences that will last a lifetime. Come see Play On, and I want to wish the Players a happy 40th anniversary.
Well, my name is Jack Iafrate, and my first show was '06, but I've been in theater since '81. I started in Michigan. The first show I did was Funny Girl. I was in 7 parts. They were all minor parts, a lot of costume changes, and it was a great production, and I was hooked from then on. And then I retired from Ford Motor Company and moved to an island in the Straits of Mackinac, which in the wintertime was inhabited by 63 people. So obviously there was no theater. And we lived there 11 years, and somebody talked me into coming to this village. And I said, in the first place, Arkansas. But here I was. We drove into the village and we fell in love with it. And we saw the auditions for Lend Me a Tenor. I believe that was '02. And when I saw this theater, I was hooked. I had to be here. So we moved here in '05, was in the show in '06, and I did an average of 2 to 3 plays a year for 10 years. And that involved Woodlands, Pocket, 5-star theater, plus one we did on 7 at the end of, it's an old theater, Moonlight Magnolias. And I got to tell you this little story. I just finished Moonlight Magnolias. We did 10 performances. And they were doing My Three Angels. Shelley Kleinman was directing. And I said, I'll audition, but I'm really tired. I need a break. I don't want to be in it unless you really need somebody. So they were into their auditions, and one of the fellas got sick. So a week before performance, he calls me and he said, "Can you save my show?" I mean, can I save the show? How can I save the show? In a week, I had my lines, and we did the show. You do what you have to do, you know. As far as a team player, I've mainly acted. I've worked behind stage as a grip a couple of times, but mainly acting, and it's a great organization, and I've met a lot of wonderful people, and maybe there's a few parts left for an old man. We'll see. Well, when we did Whose Wives Are They?, I played a guy that had to dress up as a woman, and I was Herm's supposed wife. Joanne Dobson was my actual wife. And it's a very involved play, and I had to be in and out of this woman's costume. And when I was getting the costume together, Lee had to go to Walmart to get me a bra. And of course, I had to have a really big one. I don't know, 44 or whatever size they come in. And she's standing at the register with this huge bra, and a woman behind her is looking at it, and Lee turned around and says, "Oh, this isn't for me, it's for my husband." I think it's a wonderful experience. It'll make you grow, but you got to remember one thing: you get out what you put in. There's no easy way, and you can't audition for a part and then decide you're going to be gone for 2 weeks during rehearsals. That doesn't work. When I get into a play, that's all I do. I'd like to wish the Hot Springs Village Players a wonderful 40th anniversary, and I hope that you live a long and healthy and prosperous life and continue.